because it's a working class area, I don't see why we should be without infrastructure. And I don't think why we should have to doubly struggle more, like, for instance, Launders Lane, where we've got that toxic air. I firmly believe if that was a more affluent area, that had been sorted by now. And I think until politics sorts that kind of thing out, we've all got to sort of roll our sleeves up and get on with it, really.
Hi, I'm Laura Nielsen and welcome to Hope in the Deep End. We've put together this podcast to inspire us all to keep working in areas of deprivation and poverty. We're sharing best practice, stories, outcomes and some interesting thoughts and ideas. So whether you're working in primary care, secondary care, the charity sector or any of the other myriad of roles, please listen and help us to keep each other inspired.
Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of Hope in the Deep End podcast. I'm Isabel Kaner and I'm here with Margaret Mullane MP for Dagenham and Rainham. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
It's an absolute honour, I'm great.
Good. It seems like a reasonably quiet day in Parliament today, actually. Surprising.
I think it is, actually. I think there's a lot going on, but I think everyone's kind of very busy and moving about, really. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, I mean, it would be amazing to hear a little bit about kind of how you got into politics and why you decided to get to where you are.
I suppose for me, I've always wanted to champion people that I think get ignored by institutions, possibly not deliberately. So I was a village ward councillor in the old part of Dagenham for 15 years. And I absolutely loved it. I would consider some of the residents, constituents, my friends, really, and good camaraderie. We kind of fought the good fight together, whatever they needed, really. Fantastic community kind of presence there, really, as well. I worked for the previous MP, John Cruddas, and I was never at Westminster. I was always in Dagenham, so I've been in Dagenham most of my working life, actually, which is nice. So you get to know it very well. You get a good feeling for what people want, really. And I'm always very proud of the people of Dagenham and Rainham, that they can see straight through what's real and what's not. So I think that's very good qualities, really. And I also think as well that they will give you some kind of leeway if you're trying for them, if they can see that you're doing the absolute best for them. And I think that's what keeps the faith in politics, really. So when John said he was going to retire, and he was very supportive to be the MP for Dagenham and Rainham. And also I'm the first one from the seat that was actually born in the seat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and educated as well.
Yeah.
So I thought that might bring something to come up to Parliament, really, and see if I can make some changes and kind of make their lives easier, really, for the people of Dagenham and Rainham.
Yeah, and I think it probably makes a huge kind of impact having somebody that knows the area so well as well, because I think quite often people feel a bit disassociated from their MP when it's somebody who's from miles away. So,
but I also think as well, like, you know, I use the same hospital as them. I'm in their local supermarkets. I'll pop in and run into them. You know, I'm out and about and I see them as well. So I think that comes a long way. So, you know, if there are any struggles, like for instance with the local hospital, there is big struggles, but they know I am local myself. I get it. I do pop in regularly, and I'm not just trying to make a political point for the sake of it. It's about trying to achieve things and get things delivered. So another good example is when our police counter was going to go at Dagenham East, and I think it's fair to say everybody had given up the ghost, really. And if you ask anybody in the seat, Dagenham and Rainham, next to housing, what's the most important thing that matters to them, they'll all say crime and policing. And for that counter to go was a complete no for us. So we kind of went into this massive campaign to save it. And even I was surprised when I got the news that it had been saved. But that's the kind of thing as well. And I just think because it's a working class area, I don't see why we should be without infrastructure. And I don't think why we should have to doubly struggle more, like, for instance, Launders Lane, where we've got that toxic air. I firmly believe if that was a more affluent area, that had been sorted by now. And I think until politics sorts that kind of thing out, we've all got to sort of roll our sleeves up and get on with it, really.
Yeah, no, it's great that you're so passionate about it, and like it truly means something to you.
It does.
Because it's your home.
Yes, it is, yeah.
What's your favourite thing about being an MP?
Gosh, what's my favourite thing about being an MP? I think, to be honest, I don't think I ever believed I would be, because I thought it would be a struggle to be the Member of Parliament. So to be that person that represents Dagenham and Rainham every day you wake up, and at points I can remember when I'd just been elected and the Labour Party in Parliament had you on a massive training for felt like 9 weeks, but it was 2, and a couple of times they'd say, right, do a round table, tell us who you are. And then all of a sudden it kind of twigged in, I am the MP, you know, so it's really surreal at times.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I thought, oh, right, I am the MP. Yeah, so you've got to remember. So, yeah, so I think from that point of view, and I'm very involved with getting more working class people into politics. So by the time, whenever I end my journey as the MP, I want to make sure that I've laid a path to make sure that other people from the area will look to be a Member of Parliament and not rule it out.
Yeah, well, I think it's a really important thing as well, getting people in that have experiences of things outside of a certain bubble.
Yes, yeah.
You know, then that's where real change comes from.
It does, yes.
So kind of one of the main areas that you like to focus on is housing.
It is,
You're a member of the APPG for households and temporary accommodation, which is amazing. Kind of, you know, we've just had the homelessness strategy come out. What are your thoughts on that?
I still, I mean, I welcome it, of course I do, but I think I need to be that critical voice, really. So, and my critical voice always is, where is the truly affordable housing, and how quickly, and where and when is that going to be delivered? And until we kind of really get our teeth into that, I think we're going to struggle with temporary accommodation, hostels. Housing goes into all aspects of life, really. So if you're a victim of domestic violence, that'll affect you. I can see something coming up the road that really worries me, and that's where older people near pension age, if they're lucky enough not to have their pension age extended, are in rented accommodation, very expensive rents, and there's no offer. There's nothing up the road really of any consequence for them. And I still worry about temporary accommodation, hostels, and the kind of, when you present yourself to where there isn't the resource currently, and then you're sent around the country with no support as well, I still worry about it, really.
Yeah, I mean, so we're based in Manchester, but we're seeing families from Hastings being sent up to Manchester who've never been there before, don't know the services in the local area, and then they're isolated, and then the effects of homelessness compound, and it just gets so much worse.
Yeah, and I also think as well, benefits, the opposition love to, the Conservatives and Reform, kind of throw at us about, like, oh, you're the benefit party. And I think as well, if you sorted out truly affordable council housing, you wouldn't have a massive universal credit or people trying to claim for just to pay their rent. That's what you're doing. And you're lining the pockets of the landlords when all's said and done. Now, our government is doing amazing things with housing, but I think we spoke earlier, didn't we? We're just in, and you've got 14 years, and I would argue much before that as well, because of austerity and, you know, what's gone on in this country. Housing has been completely overlooked and, you know, kind of left to the markets. It doesn't work. And until we all get to grips with that and start thinking about the building, and our government is doing that, but the pressure's on, isn't it? Because already, as an MP, I could see that. I think, goodness me, it's nearly 2 years, and before you know it, we're hopefully looking for a second term. So I think that's important as well.
Yeah, and with that as well, I think the distinction between truly affordable housing and social housing as well is one thing that probably needs a bit more.
Needs a lot more. I mean, one of the councillors, Phil Waker, who works with me, the affordable, he calls it. And, you know, whenever I have people come to me and say, we're going to do development in Dagenham and Rainham, I'm scanning to see what's the offer really, you know. And then even when, you know, they say, oh, it's going to be really good, much later on, sometimes that doesn't pan out really. And then people lose hope, I think, is the fair.
Yeah, but then that's also how you end up with empty high-rise flats and things like that. Yeah, it looks like things are going in the right direction.
It is going in the right direction.
Hopeful.
I do stay hopeful, and that's what I mean. When people ring me in, constituents, and they're crying, and I do say, you know, we are here. This is our, you know, our priority. And I think I alluded to earlier. I was in a meeting with the Prime Minister the other day, and we weren't talking about housing. But he brought it up and said it's so important. And I think if you spoke to any MP in the House of Parliament on their inboxes of whatever party they are, the majority of it is housing. In some shape or form, it all goes back to that.
Every MP that we've spoken to has just said their inbox is absolutely flooded with it.
It is, yeah.
But I can imagine it can be quite heavy for you, constantly having all of this on you and trying to fix it as well at the same time. So how do you stay hopeful in yourself?
I do believe in who we are and what we want to achieve. So, but you know, it's incredible what's gone on, pandemic, COVID, austerity. So you know, it's a long way back, and you know, we're trying to take all that on. So, but I do feel, and I mean, some of the stuff that we have done. This is my personal opinion. I think sometimes the media are not receptive, and it doesn't suit their agenda to actually share the good news and share what the issues are. Sometimes you get some very good journalists. We were talking about Quajo earlier, weren't we? I'm a big fan. He just tells on social media what's actually happening. He turns up, what his response to it is like, what's gone on, kind of give people a narrative, really. So then you haven't got people making lazy kind of ill-informed, oh, they're just on benefits, oh, they just, you know, they don't want to work, you know, that kind of thing as well. And the state of that, what some people's housing is like as well, never mind leaseholders. And the seat I've had, we've had quite a few fires, and then when things in life happen like that, and then people are looking for housing, you realise how hard it is then as well. And they've kind of had the trauma of a fire, they've lost their home, and then trying to get rehoused, it's tough.
Absolutely. But thank you so much for the work that you do, and thank you for all your support for us as well.
I love coming to the OVG. You do such good work, and you're a good example of what can be achieved.
Thank you, we appreciate it. But thank you for joining us today.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you next time.